Okay, enough of messing around. It's not working. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and get started.
Okie dokie.
Everything keeps breaking on me. Anyway, all right. Now that's broken.
Ow.
What about this? Yep, that one's broken too. Hey, Dragon. Okay, hello, everyone, and welcome to our 20th episode. Holy crap. 20 episodes already. Yeah, welcome to our 20th episode of the Front Porch Gamer podcast. And today I am joined by none other than Dragonwell.
Hello.
It's a good to see you.
It's a good to see you, my friend. How are you?
I am well. I have a little bit of technical difficulties as usual whenever I want to do these. For some reason, YouTube is so broken when it comes to streaming. It's no wonder everybody jumped ship to Twitch for a while, and then they jumped ship to
Mixer.
Oh no. Where did it? Why? Oh, that's why. Okay, hang on. Add existing. That's right. Like I said. Okay, audio output, add existing. Okay. Okay, so 3,599 strong on YouTube. Everyone, Dragonwell.
Hello. How are you, my friend? Hi.
Okay, all right. Everybody can hear you now. Good.
Awesome. Gosh.
Oh yeah, okay. So I forgot. All right, so yeah, Streamlabs sets everything up for you, so you don't have to do all this.
Yes,
you literally have to do one piece at a time.
Yes.
And then on top of that, there's the issue with it not wanting to actually link to the actual stream event for some messed up reason. And I think my OBS for some reason is not the same as the OBS that Valkos is using that he swears by, because I don't have a chat window. I still have to do pop out on the actual YouTube page.
He may have downloaded something called OBS.live, and that's a Twitch functionality thing, but I think you can use it for YouTube as well.
Okay, yeah, because he swears up and down that OBS still has its perks on top of Streamlabs, which I do have to agree. You can do a lot more with OBS than you can Streamlabs, which obviously Streamlabs is still in the beta form.
It'll always be in beta form, consider it's an open broadcast software. It's just there may be updates for it, but you know, who knows?
Right. Yeah.
It may never get released.
Oh, but there's a few games out that are like that too. Been out for years in beta form. They never actually fully released it because they keep updating it so much. They're like, I don't think it's done yet.
Well, Subnautica was like that for the longest of times. It was out like 5 or 6 years, I think, before it actually went release. And then they did like two updates afterwards, and like, oh, the game's done. It's like, oh, well, okay.
Yeah, I think. Well, yeah, because you got to remember, underground or underworld or what's our company?
I don't know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about, but I can't think of the name. Yeah,
it's they literally started with nothing. It was like, I think they said it was like a couple of guys that were just working on a project, and then thanks to people like, obviously Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, and all that, thanks to them playing and advertising the game, they sold so many copies to where they could actually build a studio, and get a crew working on it to finish it. And I beat it on stream on Twitch a while back, man. And I tell you what, it was like I'm terrified of the ocean. I'm terrified of everything that's in that game. And then they came out with Below Zero. But I have to admit, when I finally beat Subnautica, it's like, you're climbing up that ladder on your rocket and you're just kind of stopping, and then you're looking back out over that ocean world. You're just like, do I really want to leave right now?
It's like, bye, game. I love you.
Yeah, it's one of those moments where it's like, when you finally, you really enjoy a game, and then whenever you finally beat it, you're like, oh, I'm done.
Yeah.
But obviously Subnautica's got a huge replay value, and now that Below Zero's out, people are waiting for it to get updated, which I bought it on day one, and I got to tell you, it was really cool. I really like where they're going with it. but there is one thing. If it wasn't bad enough, obviously they wanted to introduce new creatures because it's a different section of the world.
Yes.
But there's one creature that I'm waiting, or I'm actually saying that they can hold off as long. I don't know if it's in the game yet. It probably is at this point, and I don't want to find out. It's the new Shadow Leviathan.
Yes.
That thing.
I won't say anything. Let's put it this way.
That thing, I actually saw the video where the guy was able to, where they had released it to where people can actually spawn it in the game, it's just to kind of like let people see what it's like. That thing, not only is it huge, it is terrifying.
Oh yeah, the game is nowhere near polished, and they plan on doing a few more updates. Like I've already got like a partial series and stuff on it, so as soon as they start updating more of the story, because that's the whole point of me going into Subnautica Below Zero was the story. So yeah, once they get more story elements in it, I'm back into the fray with it. It's a really good game. I like it.
Oh yeah, it was like, well, when Subnautica first released, like it was just exploration and figuring stuff out. But then they added story to it once they started getting funding, and that's I have to agree with you on that. That's one of the things that really hooked me. So all right, so we really just went hard on into a full blown conversation already. But, so obviously these podcasts, we're here to find more out about you, people who may not know you, people who already know you but would like to learn more. So I mean, obviously with this, what we're going to do is I may just ask you some random questions.
Yeah, you go for it.
Feel free to answer whatever you want. If there's questions that I ask that you don't want to answer, you don't feel comfortable answering, don't be afraid to tell me. I'll be sure.
I'm an open book, dude. I don't mind anybody asking me anything. If people want to get to know me more on a personal level, as far as asking me questions, I don't mind answering them. It's just more of a humbling experience that people want to get to know me, and that's just, it gives me the warm fuzzies, or warm fuzzy feels, as I like to call them.
Definitely. And that's one of the main things that really, like, when I first came across your channel, like, it was completely by accident. I don't even remember how I think, it was Subnautica. You were playing Subnautica. That's how I found you.
Yeah.
And and that was when I first got it. It's like right after I got this PC I've got now, and I was finally able to play it myself after I got my video card upgrade for it. And I was just kind of exploring YouTube a little bit, and then because I had been searching YouTube so often, you had actually popped up as a recommendation. I came and started watching, and the first thing that caught my attention was how much, and this is very rare to find anymore, it is how much your content and you yourself as a streamer, video creator, you have a very family friendly environment in your content, and that was one of the biggest things that caught my attention about you. So
I try.
Yeah. So you and I already had this conversation just randomly the other day, but for people who don't know, so what led you to look at YouTube and just go, you know what, I'm going to create a persona, and I'm going to, like, what made you create that first upload or stream that you did?
Well, I mean, that's a little convoluted question, but I can answer it with some relevance, and it's like a TLDR type situation. I started my channel long ago, back in 2004, 2005, something like that. But I was asking a friend, hey, do you think I should do YouTube? And he's like, nah, man, it's already too saturated. Don't even worry about it. You have nothing to bring to the table. And then one day, almost 3 years ago, almost like literally the anniversary of the channel is coming up, so we'll be doing this for 3 years. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But I would say a month or two. I don't want to say the month or two. I started recording and uploading videos in August. I would say January, just to be safe. In January, I was watching videos from both Markiplier and Jacksepticeye on how, people, we need more people in the game. We need more variety of the games. We need this and this and that. And they brought up the issue like, YouTube's already saturated, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, don't listen. If you want to do YouTube, just do it. And go for it and do the best you can, because yes, there is, we may be all playing the same game, but everybody brings a piece of the table, something to the table as far as uniqueness and as far as, you know, how people handle different situations. So I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to listen to my friend, you know, back in the day. I'm going to do it. I'm going to try it out. And I think the first time I started uploading videos was with my brother and I. We started a YouTube channel, but that one slowly died off as soon as he got into college. So, yeah, if you go to my About Me page on YouTube, it'll say after me and my brother, you know, Rexy Rex, decided to you know, separate ways when it came to videos because he had school and he had other works and things of that nature. I decided to make my own channel, and August 22nd of 2016 was my very first upload. So yeah, hope that answered your question.
Yeah, it says I've actually got it pulled up here because I love doing research.
Oh,
after it, yeah, it says it actually says right here, after starting a channel with my brother Rexy Rex, I decided to venture out on my own and make a single player gaming channel because of a dream I had telling me to start one. I can do multiplayer games as long as it has a single player functionality, which is this day and age practically all of them.
yeah.
I strive to entertain everyone to the best of my ability. As long as the people of this community are happy with my content, then I am happy.
Yeah,
which is a very big but selfless thing at the same time.
I might need to update about that now that I'm hearing it out loud. I may need to update it because I've now since, like, I wouldn't say focused the channel. You know, my channel's not focused on multiplayer, but we do a lot of multiplayer stuff this day and age. And,
yeah, and I've definitely noticed, like your Minecraft videos. I've definitely noticed that even though your brother, you know, went on his own way and you kept the channel going, he does still join you on occasion.
Oh yeah,
you record Minecraft.
Oh yeah, no, he's like, since we've broken up, we used to the site used to be Draconium Gaming, which was me and my brother, my brother and I, however English works. But like, it was like, if I couldn't be there, he didn't record. If I couldn't be there, we just didn't record at all. Like, we had to be there together. That's why we decided to go on separate ways, and he then got his own channel. So, but yeah.
No, yeah. What? So, all right. Well, that's interesting to know. Draconium. That's pre-Dragon Whelp. So where did that name come? Was that a name that you always like had when you started?
No, Draconium Gaming came from, it was just a, I don't know, it's like a culmination of our names. Like my brother's actual YouTube name is like Immerexian, and he wanted to do something like the Dragon Brothers Gaming, and that just, you know, we molded over in our heads. It just didn't work. So we just, you know, meshed up on something dragon related, and, you know, that was just the name my brother picked. Like, everything about the channel, my brother was, you know, the major factor in picking the names and things of that nature, because, you know, I wanted to make sure that it was something he was proud of as well as I was, because I knew that, you know, the recording software that I had, and we did all the things and the stuff, and, you know, I knew my end was good quality, so, you know, I just wanted to make sure that he was in on the process, because I didn't want to be like, oh yeah, this is what we're gonna do. No, it was a joint effort. And then when, you know, it hurt. Of course, it hurt when he said he had to go do stuff, but real life comes first. That's another saying I do a lot. It's just real life comes first, and so we just, you know, the channel just died. I mean, it wasn't like we couldn't help it. I mean, I wasn't about to record without him, and I just got antsy. I was like, I want to do more. It's like candy. Once you have one, you can't stop. You have to get more. So anyway. Yeah,
I mean, it was a good thing that you kept it going. It was a good thing he still manages to do stuff. I really want to do something like, you know, like a podcast with my little brother, because he does support the channel, and he occasionally, like on birthdays and stuff, he's just all like, hey, you know, here's a gift card for GameStop, or hey, I bought you a game, here you go. And,
oh, nice.
Like, he supports the channel from, you know, the shadows, basically, because he's always busy. He doesn't really have internet where he's because he's kind of like in between at the moment, sadly. Like, he's making more money than me, but the poor guy's trying to get his living conditions sorted out. Like, he thought he had a place, but there was no, like, he was denied internet because they said the lines were exhausted because there's only one provider in that area,
right?
And so he had to be put on a waiting list. And Well, now the house that he was renting, that he was thinking about buying, things started falling apart. Like
Oh man, that's
the
sad to hear.
washer busted. Yeah, the washer busted, and like he woke up at like 2 or 3 in the morning, and the water was still running. And he got out of bed to find a swamp in half the house.
Oh,
And it was, yeah, it was just bad. And then after they got that cleaned up, the air conditioning busted, so he had no
right.
AC in the house. And well, out where they live, it's straight humidity. So I mean, he's dying in that place. So
I bet.
When the offer came up that he could buy the house, which is our aunt's old house, that's the sad thing. It's
Right.
our aunt's old house. She moved out of it after my uncle passed away, and so he was given the offer to buy it. And it was my aunt's, well, it's our cousin who owns the house now. She sold it to one of her sons, and he rented it to a couple of people who didn't take care of it. So when my brother rented it, him and my dad tried to work together to clean it up. But when things started falling apart, and then they offered for him to buy it, he's like, no. He's like, because honestly, he said, with everything that's falling apart that I've got to fix, so I'm going to end up putting more into the house than what it's worth. He said, you're asking way too much for it. I was like, so he's like, I'm just going to back out completely. So unfortunately, he's kind of back and forth between that place until his lease is up, and my mom and dad's house when he needs to go over there for, important stuff.
He's got major real life stuff to deal with. I get it. I get it.
So yeah, he's definitely somebody I would love to have on here, because he's a huge help. Him and my sister both. And my folks, mom's sort of like, she doesn't understand it, but she's supportive. My dad, he's just like, oh, you're 31, you're still playing games, really?
Oh, you're never too old to play games, man. You're never too old.
No. Well, I find that funny because he just turned 50, and yet just a couple of years ago, I bought him one of those Atari flashbacks for his anniversary. And mom says that he likes to pick that up every now and again. So yeah, 31, and you're complaining that I'm still playing games, but yeah, you just turned 50 and you're still playing Atari.
My dad's almost 66, and he still plays video games every chance he gets. It's like it's built into his person, just like it's built into me. I just inherited it. It's just one of those things, like you can never, even though he has, he's getting older, so a lot of his body parts, like his hands and feet and things, don't work very well. But that doesn't keep him from trying. He gets in there and he does the best he can. I bought my father the same thing, an Atari Flashback, and he'll sit in his bed for hours just playing the thing. He has a blast with it.
Well, that's always good, because yeah, and I remember my early, like, I've played multiple games with him. Like, I remember on the Super Nintendo back when I was like real little, like we played Mario before, back in the, I can't remember which Mario game it was, but it was the one where you could actually share screen play Mario Luigi. And in this particular Mario game, you could actually jump on each other. And I remember I did that because I thought it was funny. And Dad told me, he's like, quit doing that. You're pissing me off. Quit doing that. And I jumped on him again. He goes, okay, you're done. Go to your room. Like I got grounded because I jumped on my dad's head too many times.
Man. Oh.
But what's really funny is later on down the line, when PlayStation came out, I remember there was one game that we really bonded on. That was Driver.
Oh.
And because I remember with each city, you got a different car.
Right.
And the first city, I think it was Miami, if I'm not mistaken. The car that you drive in the first city, it looks like an old model Impala, sort of. I can't remember exactly what it was modeled after, but it looked like one of those. And my dad, believe it or not, had the same exact car.
Oh, that's so cool.
That he built into a monster ride. He put a huge lift kit on it, huge tires, and he'd take that sucker out into like mud pits. And that car was so much fun, but it had some major issues. Like the only way you could you could start it up just fine, but the only way you could shut it off was you had to pop the hood and pull the battery cable.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I've had plenty of vehicles like that in my day, unfortunately. But you do what you can, and you make use of what you got. I mean, that's about the best way you can do it.
Yeah. So, but I tell you what, man, there's a lot of fond memories with games, and I explain that to my dad, and I think he's finally starting to come around with it. I mean, for the love of God, like I said, he just turned 50, and him and mom have surprised us all by he's been listening to some of Disturbed's cover songs, which was rather surprising.
Oh,
He's been
nice.
listening. He's been listening to Five Finger Death Punch's cover songs lately, and the one that really shocked me was I did this in one of my yearly review videos I did, where it was like best moments of 2018 or something like that. I went over to his house. We were having a little party out in his shop, like we usually do almost every Friday. And I remember it was a New Year's Eve party. Him and mom were celebrating their anniversary. And Metallica came on. And it was funny because the music that was playing, it wasn't coming from like XM or the radio. And no, it was coming from his phone. It was music he had bought. Now, one interesting thing, in case you had some of you that have been following me for a while, if you haven't seen the video I'm talking about, the thing that shocked me the most about this was the fact that my whole life, my dad has always told me he hates metal. He hates like really hard. Like he'll listen to Motley Crue, obviously Def Leppard, stuff like, he'll listen to some stuff that will kind of almost take it to that level. But there's like a certain point where he's just all like, okay, that's too hard. No.
Right.
He hates hip hop. He hates really anything that he says that you can't understand what they're saying. He hates it.
Right.
Mind you, this is the same guy that at the age of 20 had albums like Iron Maiden and Two Live Crew.
Oh, wow.
Now, if anybody remembers Two Live Crew, yeah, that one. So yeah, I was like, you're being a little bit hypocritical. And then Metallica came on one night, and I looked at him, and I'm like, what is this? He's like, well, it's Metallica. I'm like, you hate Metallica. You've been telling me that for years, because he loves 80s. He loves the 80s. But when I asked him, I said, well, do you like Metallica? My whole life it's been, I can't stand Metallica. They scream too much. I don't like Metallica. Well, then Enter Sandman comes on, and he goes, oh, dude, I love Metallica.
Oh, it's like, who are you?
I seriously told, I even told mom, is he sick? Is he dying? Is something going on? Dad, really? Do we need to take you to a doctor? Maybe a priest?
Oh, need an exorcism or something. Jeez.
So, okay. So we talked enough about me. I apologize for that.
No, you're good, dude. I'm having a blast.
So one thing I'm really curious about. So obviously we all start at the same level, unless you're one of those people that were lucky enough to be friends with somebody that's got like huge numbers, and they're like, hey, you should start a channel. I'll help boost you. I wish I had friends like that.
Right.
But anyway, so obviously, we all start at the same level. We all started with that big zero.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously it took, like you said, your anniversary is coming up for 3 years here pretty soon. Now,
August 22nd. Yes.
August 20th. Well, happy early anniversary.
Oh, thank you.
I'm a little curious. So obviously it took you these past 3 years to get to where you're at now.
Yes.
What would you say, when and what gave you the biggest boost in your channel that you've seen thus far?
Started live streaming. I started live streaming in June or July, around in that area, of 2017, and I jumped from 300-ish subscribers to 500 and something in a day. So I gained more subscribers in a day than I had gained in the 6 months or so that I was just doing regular videos. And then from there, it was just by our time we hit our 1 year anniversary, which is in 2017, we'd already hit 1K. So just in that short little time span from June and July to August of 2017, we had jumped nearly 700 subscribers, 700 people, 700 family members is what I like to call them. We jumped 700 family members in just that short time period. It was like 4 or 5 months. It wasn't that much. And then from then, by the time we hit our second anniversary, we had already hit over like 2 to 3K, and we just, I mean, it has gone stagnant, I won't lie, but you know, it's a good for a channel to sit there and I mean, growth is good, but we haven't really moved in the approximately 6 months. So I mean, it's a good stopping point or a plateau to where you can mellow out and get your get your morals straight, get your values straight, find out basically finding the channel, and just stick with the people you have. I mean, if I never, like the way I tell my viewers every day, if I never gained another sub from this day forward, but we kept the as amount of people that watch the videos and that come to the streams and things of that nature, I would be just as happy as anything. Because like I set a goal for myself when I first started streaming, or when I started YouTube period, was 10 people, and that goal still stands even though we've blown it out of the water like multiple times. But like and my philosophy is, as long as one person comes to my streams, comes and watches the videos, as long as that person is entertained, I'm happy. I'm doing what I set out to do, just entertaining just the one person. Now, if I happen to get more people in the process, then that's all the better. But like, as long as I'm entertaining it just at least one person, I know in my heart that I'm doing the best that I can.
And that's a good way to look at it. You know, it's really hard to look at it that way for most people. I mean, I'm obviously guilty of it myself, but I mean, it's really hard to look at it that way. But the fact that you are able to look at it that way and keep that attitude, I mean, that's got to be a huge help when it actually comes to keeping the channel, consistent. And obviously, people seeing that attitude is, I'm sure, what really draws them back to you. Now, it was interesting because you and I share something in common, although we have a different way of doing it, but it's essentially the same thing.
Okay.
And that is, we call our followers family. Like you have your family, and then, I have the Front Porch family, which obviously, I get that from my dad. He's a huge fan of doing the whole, hanging out on the front porch, listening to music, having a good time, hanging with friends and family, and just forgetting about the problems of the world. It's a place where you can just kind of let go.
Yeah.
And, I'm in the same boat. Anybody that shows up, I'm thankful for them. And then, but there's one thing about your channel while you're streaming that I find it kind of what's the proper word to say from one man to another?
Just say it like it is. Be honest.
It's okay. So I guess most people would call it kind of adorable. Just because of the character that you reference.
Oh, yes, my Stitch. Yes.
Yeah, and your favorite line every time somebody mentions family, or every time somebody follows.
Ohana means family. Family means no one gets left behind or forgotten.
Yeah. First time I heard that, I was like, this dude's for real. Like,
it's like that voice is coming out of that dude? No way. But yeah, I've worked long and hard on the voices and doing other impressions and stuff.
Oh, look at that! You've already got yourself your first crush right there. But yeah, like I got to admit, I love Stitch. Like I remember watching that. It's crazy, and I'm sure because you have kids.
I have kids. Yes, I have two. I have a boy and a girl. Yes.
Yeah. And I've got my little girl, and I find it really interesting, because it seems like it wasn't really that long ago, but a lot of the movies that we grew up watching, it's like, we're now watching them with our kids. And it's like, wow, was it really that long ago when this movie came out? And then all of a sudden you realize, oh crap, I'm getting old.
Like my son will be what, 15 next year. My daughter turns 14 this year. Yeah, and it just seems like yesterday they were the itty bitties. I'm like, what happened to the time? Holy cow! But no, you're right. We sit there and we watch like Lilo and Stitch, The Lion King, Aladdin, Ghostbusters, things of that nature, and it's just like, I remember when I was a kid, that was a big thing. Like, and they love it. They love it. I mean, of course, they're older now, and they like their own things, which that does make them their own person, and it's turning them into their own individual, persons, basically, which is not bad. Which I encourage it. I encourage both of my son and my daughter to be themselves. Don't be anybody what people tell, don't peer pressure into being somebody you're not. Just be yourself. That's all I ever say. And that's what I try to encourage, especially when it comes to streaming and people who like are inspired by me to stream. I tell them just to be yourself. Don't put on a mask. Don't put on a show unless that is what you're trying to do. Then by all means. But if you're going to be just like upfront and honest with people, always be upfront and honest, because as soon as you lie, people could see right through you.
Oh yeah, especially once they get comfortable with you and they start to, they get to a sense of who you are, and then all of a sudden, if you just randomly switch it up one day, they're gonna be like, "Wait a minute."
It's like, Dragon Whelp, I don't think you're telling the truth there, Dragon Whelp. Like, ooh, see, people on the internet can see right through you, and that's just why it's best just to be honest from the day one. Don't sit there and try to flim flam or squabble or cheat or anything like. Again, there are a lot of people out there that do that. There are a lot of people who put on a face and they put on a show. Like that is their opportunity to do what they want to do. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't. I'm just saying, for me and my moral standards, when it comes to live streaming and comes to videos and comes to anything that I do internet wise or even in real life, I am the same person in real life as I am on the camera. So if you met up, come up and say hi to me in the streets, I'm going to be like, "What's up, family? How you doing?" So, I mean, it's just, that's the way I am. So
yeah, that's definitely, I mean, I'm obviously far from ever having that happen to me, but I mean, you're getting up there to the point where there's a good possibility it could happen.
I've already had it happen 3 times.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
How'd that go?
The first time was a small. I don't call my young viewers children, because some of them are more mature than I could ever be. But I had a younger viewer say, "Hey, aren't you Dragon Whelp?" Like, yeah. Like, prove it to me that you're Dragon Whelp. So I did the Ohana is family in the Stitch voice. And he's like, "I watch your stuff." I was like, "Well, thank you. And he's like, "Well, I don't think I'm supposed to be talking to strangers, but keep up the good work, man. I love you." And he ran off back to his dad. And then that's a smart kid. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't going to say anything. I was just like, you follow what your dad, follow what your parents say. Always listen and do your homework and things of that nature. Trying to be a good role model. And I always try to be a good role model. And then I've found some of my adult crew that likes to watch my videos and streams and things of that nature, and they're just they just like sitting there talking about different games, like, "Hey, you should play this and this," like giving me video ideas. I'm like, you know what, I probably should do that. And we have done that. I encourage anybody who comes by the streams, anybody who watches any of my videos, anybody who joins the Discord channel, like, by all means, if you have a game that you want to request, I have viewer request days that, take advantage of them. And, I love, like, I've actually found 2 or 3 new games that I never really knew existed by people requesting games for me to play on particular days. And it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's always good whenever people suggest content sometimes, because it's like, like, especially whenever you hit that point where you're just like, okay, well, I've covered this, I've done that, I finished this. What do I want to do next? And then like there's something that work like with me, like I have loads of games that I could play or cover, or something. And there's plenty of games that are coming out all the time, but there's just times where you're sitting there going, what should I do? And then having somebody chime in and say, well, hey, have you thought about doing this? And It's like, good idea. It's like, and actually, since that got brought up, there is one thing that I do. One thing I have to mention is you're really big into motivation. That's something that I really respect about you. And it was actually because of that attitude that you actually motivated me to eventually, here very soon, I'm hoping, to start an LP series that I'm actually going to finish. Because I remember you and I were discussing this, and we were crunching ideas, and I mentioned that I've always wanted to do LP series, and there's one game that I'm really, 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 really wanting to play because I know it's going to be a lot of fun. I know I'm going to enjoy it, but I don't stream anymore, like on Twitch or anything, because because of everything that happened.
Right.
And I've tried to do LP series before, and I said, nobody ever watches my LPs. And as soon as I said that, you immediately jumped up and you're like, no, stop. And you were like, if you want to do it, if you know you're going to enjoy it, then do it.
Do it for you. Yeah, I mean, I know it sounds selfish in that way, do it for you, but if you're having fun and people come in just to see what's up and they see you're having fun, they're going to vicariously have fun through you, and that's how you make new friends. That's a lot of the games that I play. Like, I'm playing Final Fantasy. Like, I just started literally earlier today, started Final Fantasy 7. I love that game. That game is from my childhood. If, I do care that people enjoy it. I mean, if they have something they want to say, by all means, let me know. But I mostly play a lot of my games because I feel like I know the game, I love the game, I know what the game's about, type situation. But I will say there are a few games out there that a lot of people have suggested and said, hey, play this, and I've loved the mess out of it. So, I mean, it's good to, dabble and experiment with new things, but also just, like, if you have a game that you want to do and you're like, oh, do it, then, like, do it. Just don't worry about what other people think, because you're going to have those people that are trolls or be like, you suck, or even worse. Just do it for you. Play the games that make you happy, because if you start playing games, like, you're forced yourself to play games that you're not really comfortable with playing, this already going into the game, you're going to have a tough time with trying to get the game. You're going to get frustrated a lot easier. You're just going to it's just like people can see the disgust and anger on your face, if it even leads to anger. But they'll see the disgust on your face, like you're not having fun, and people see that, and it's not fun for them. So, I mean, especially with the community that we have built, like, if I'm having fun 9 times out of 10, the people in the chat, they're having fun. And I've been told by multiple people that I tend to make games that they play themselves. Like, they would never touch the game in a million years, but they watch my playthroughs of them because I seem to make them fun. So that's, just like I said to you, just do it for you, and you'll go far. You'll go far.
Yeah, I remember. I really wish I could get this back too, because I actually had a moment there for a while where I had people that were, commenting to me about stuff like that, where, like, I remember, what was it, when I think it was when Dynasty Warriors 9 came out. I told everybody I was wanting to cover that because I'm a huge Dynasty Warriors fan.
Mm-hmm.
Always have been.
I remember that.
9 was getting such a bad rap from the get-go. And I kept sticking it out, saying, no, this game's going to be great. Just give it a chance. And then when it came out, like, when I first started streaming it, like, I was enjoying it. I liked it that there was a new Dynasty Warriors out. It wasn't until a few months down the road that I started to see what everybody's complaints were, coming true. And also, but at the time, though, I was still streaming it. I was still covering it. I was still enjoying it. And people that would come in to see the streams, they would come in and say, I wasn't going to pick this game up because I just heard too many bad things about it, but you're really making this game look a lot of fun, so I'm going to go pick it up. And I thought that was great. And here lately, I haven't really had that, and I kind of miss it. But at the same time, it's like, well, it's like I don't know if it's all me or if it's just the change in the crowd. I honestly don't know, but I try to have fun with everything that I do. And I guess I worry about certain things too much. And
a lot of people do. You're not the only one.
And I remember when I was talking to you saying, I really want to break away from just doing guides. I want to
do a full-fledged LP. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to do a LP that I will actually finish, that I know I'm going to enjoy. And the only one I could think of off the top of my head where I could possibly do that, and when I mentioned it to you, your face went, but
yeah. It's a great game.
Yeah, I mentioned I wanted to do Xenogears because I've played the beginning of it. That's all I've played, and I love the combat in it. I think it's so much fun. But as soon as I mentioned that, you were just all like, "Oh, yes."
That's like, it's easily in my top 5 games, easily.
Yeah, and I remember I told you I was wanting to do an LP on it because I think you and I discussed obviously with a game like that, because there is going to be a lot of downtime for grinding and everything. It's better to do a recorded LP than it is to stream, because
Mm-hmm.
people usually tend to drift away
Yeah.
when it comes to the downtime. So I decided I was wanting to do it, and a lot of it was because of the motivation that you had given me, and that's always been something, like I said, I've always respected about you. And I gotta say one thing though, and this is what I think you and I discussed this the other day. But when I was watching like the first portion of your 7 stream when I got home earlier,
Mm-hmm.
um, I've been noticing with some of your viewers, and not the one that you're gonna be thinking of whenever I say this, because we already discussed him, but that's not. I'm just talking about like everybody in general.
Okay.
I've been noticing though that even though you seem to have a lot of fun on your streams and people do enjoy watching you, I can see it whenever I watch the chat, but I've definitely noticed that there's been a big number of people that will come in, and I've experienced this too, and I never make sense of this, is they'll come in and they'll be watching you, they'll be talking to you, and like literally everything you say or everything you do with the game that you're playing, they always want to contradict what you're doing or the things that you say. And like you say, like, oh well, I think there was one uh, earlier that said when you mentioned something about the nostalgia with the PlayStation, like immediately this dude jumped on and was just like, he's like, oh well, GameCube. And
Oh no, I always encourage, because I value everybody's opinions equally. Now, if I said the PlayStation was the best console, you have your own opinion about that, and we could debate on that for hours. But I'm not saying the PlayStation is the best console. I'm just giving a example. But when it comes to the way my chat is like the way I have open chat with my friends, which in my family, on streams and things, like I always value their opinion. Like if the PlayStation or the PlayStation noise when you start up a old school PlayStation 1 is kind of like just music to your ears, just like, yes, I know where I'm at. This is familiar. This is my childhood. I encourage other people. It's not necessarily contradicting me, but I encourage other people to speak their mind. I encourage it's like, oh, so the Xbox or the GameCube or the DS or any system that you grew up with, that's the one. Oh yes, that's my console. Like I encourage that type of chat. Now I have a zero tolerance policy when it comes to trolls. But
yeah, I've definitely know that was kind of what I was talking. And Rita mentioned side seat gamers, and it's like I guess that's what I was trying to get at. But
gotcha.
I had a horrible I was too slow on thinking of a good example that I've seen, because I've seen a lot of it, and I do notice that you do have regulars that come in,
yes,
that do occasionally troll you regardless of what you're doing. And I've dealt with this before. It's like you're playing a game that's completely different, like a different genre. And you'll get somebody come in and just like, I never did enjoy this game or anything that had anything to do with it. You should play Fortnite. What are you doing here then?
No, basically, and I think I know who you're talking about. No names will be named though. But no, they will come in and tell me their opinions on the game. They'll be like, I'd never really liked this game personally, but you make this game fun, type situation. So that's, going back to what I said earlier, like I tend to make, like, people who had never touched the game in a million years, they enjoy playing the game through me, vicariously through me, because they seem to have more fun and enjoy the story more if they're not the ones having to be quote unquote bored by it. I don't know what would be the case, but me, I have the most fun. Like I'm glad I'm having fun because that person's having fun watching me have fun, and it's just the fun just never stops. It's a vicious cycle with the fun. But like it's not. I don't think that's trolling in my opinion. Like coming into my stream and saying you suck. Now that's borderline trolling for me, because like that's just not a nice thing to say. But again, that goes back to the way I like to chat with my family, my friends, is I want them to be honest, and I want them to be, open with me, but, there's a time and place for everything. But I don't always view what people say as being a contradictory, or view as being just like a troll in some ways, unless you're just purposely doing that, then I can see right through you. But there's other people's like that, hey, I really never liked this game, but you're making it look cool, so I may give it another try. It's just like that type of situation.
Have you had any of the ones where you'll be playing something that has a really good story to it, and it's your first time playing? Have you had anybody jump in and like immediately try to spout off like a whole paragraph of in-game spoilers?
All the time. That's one of the reasons why when people start spewing spoilers, I have mods in the chat, but 9 times out of 10, I spoil the game myself. I just don't tell people about it because I do, like, when it comes to a game, I do massive amounts of research. Now, there are games that I have done absolutely zero research on because I want to, like, experience the game firsthand on stream without any spoilers. There are a couple of games that I've done that, but with like Final Fantasy games that I've played in my past, I mean, sure, I don't allow people to try to do spoilers in the chat. Like I'll delete the message or whatever for people who have never played it and this is the first time they're seeing it. I'll delete the spoilers for that reason. But like I've had them all the time, and luckily enough, I have some really good moderators that like as soon as they see it, they nip it in the bud. They'll delete the message as fast as they can before I see it, but I read it anyway. So. Because I'm kind of wanting to know what's going on, because if somebody gets banned or gets just timed out, I want to be there to understand why, and so that way they don't come back on Discord or message me somewhere on Twitter being like, why was that banned? But anyway.
Yeah, and I've definitely noticed that with you. Like you're somebody who doesn't like, banning is the absolute last resort for you.
I have a 3-strike policy. You fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, I'm sorry. 3 strikes, you're out. That's all I can take.
Yeah, usually I've banned quite a few people over the past 2 years, and a lot of them have been straight up just people coming in and immediately, like, they come in just to diss the game that you're playing.
Yeah.
And then you have a lot that will come in on, like, they will have multiple accounts where they come in and they try to spew spoilers about the game, and it's like, banned. Hey, I'm back, banned.
Yeah, I've also had people coming in saying, racial words and just being all vulgar and just filth, just nothing but pouring out their mouth. And I'm just like, no, I have zero tolerance policy for that kind of stuff, especially if you're going to come in with a bad name. There's been a couple of times I've actually asked people, because of their name specifically, can you please change it? It's a vulgar name. We try to keep things PG here. And like, I want to say 7 out of 10 times it works, but not everybody is like, their name is meant to be the troll itself. So anyway.
Yeah, which is funny because here, what was it, just a few years ago, people couldn't get away with stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, PSN names, YouTube names, Twitch names, like if it had anything racial or anything offensive at all, like they would be temporarily suspended until they switched the name. If they didn't switch the name, then they would get a ban, like a permanent ban.
Yep.
But now it's like, I've seen some names on multiple platforms, whether it be in a game or on a console system or YouTube, Twitch, whatever. I've seen some names out there that you just look at, you're like, how do you even have access to your account with a name like that, especially if you're that active? Like, I don't know. The policies for everything is getting really screwed up, and like that's a whole topic in itself.
That's a whole other bag of worms. That is correct, sir.
Yeah. So one thing and there is one thing going around right now that I'm actually surprised on how much it's picked up, which I should rephrase that. I'm not surprised on how much it's picked up, because it's a topic that I think that a lot of us don't need to be quiet about. And a lot of people have come forward and made it very, they've pointed out how it's wrong to address things this way. And that was with the recent, if you don't want to talk about this, I'll completely understand. It's the recent announcement or the recent speech made by the one and only, saying that video games are a problem, or violent video games are a problem.
Are you talking about politics?
A little bit, yeah.
I don't deal with politics. Politics and religion are the two things that I stay away from. I don't talk about those, and I didn't even know, like, if I knew anything about the topic you're referring to, I would more than happy speak on it, because it is, they've done this for years, and if you look down through the years, the same thing happens every time a game comes out that some one parent doesn't like, or two parents, or a group of parents doesn't like, because of the way the game is created or the way the thing is. Well, don't buy the game for your kid. It's rated M for a reason. Like, if you're buying your children these games, come on, smart up. Like, they ask you, at least I know at the game store that I go to all the time, like, they ask, hey, this is rated M, is this okay for him to play? And a lot of times the parents are like, well, what's in it that will cause it to have that M rating? And 90% of the time it's either violence or some other type of vigilanteism that just, like, that's like what they thought, Grand Theft Auto thing back in the day. That was just like, oh, these kids think it's okay and going out and stealing cars and blah, blah, blah. Curse the game industry. No, don't curse the game industry. You bought the game Like, come on now.
Seeing the rating, and usually a lot of the times, if I know this because I got the same thing at my local game store. You're buying a game that has a very high rating on it, and they know that you're buying it for a kid. It's like, they'll ask you, like, are you sure you want to buy this for the, like, that's an interesting point, because I actually kept a kid from getting GTA 5 shortly after it came out, because I was at my local game store, and there was a I don't know if it was a mother or a grandmother. It was kind of a sad thing to not really be able to point out, but I just remember there was a lady in the store with a child, small child, probably about 8 or 9.
Mm-hmm.
And they were looking at games, and she's like, well, what do you want? And he's like, oh, I really want this one. He picks up GTA 5, and I'm just kind of standing there next to him looking like, and she's looking at it, and she goes, well, what's this about?
Mm-hmm.
That was my cue. I looked at her. I said, ma'am, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I said, I wouldn't buy that for that kid. She goes, why not? I said, because I play that game. I was like, and there's a lot of racial tendencies in it. I said, there's a lot of language.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, murder, Grand Theft Auto, I just did, the list goes on, and she just kind of looked, she looks like she just saw Satan herself.
Yeah.
Or himself, and she kind of looked at him, she goes, well, thank you, and she puts it back.
Yep. I've done that.
And the kid looked at me, and he goes, thanks.
I've done that for quite a few kids. I've disappointed them, but it's one of those reasons, like, that's why the people these days are like, curse the gaming industry. No, don't curse the gaming industry. Just don't buy it for your kid. Do your research in the games before you do anything. Like, if you don't know what a game's about, don't buy it and then find out what it's about. Find out what it's about before you buy it, because you could, I don't know, like, there's a bunch of games that have sex in them, like straight up sex scenes. And and it's just like, you're going to buy this for a child? Okay, he's going to see something he's not supposed to see for another, maybe 5-10 years. But
like, every Mass Effect game, The Witcher, oh yeah, there's
oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, like, when I did my playthrough of 1886, I didn't expect, like, full blown, like, they're doing it on the bed type situation. Sorry, I didn't mean to refer to spoilers or anything, but no, seriously, like, they're just like, whoop, there they are. It's like, oh, okay. Well, I'm glad
we're gonna have to change age on this stream now.
Well, no, it's not. I'm glad I didn't stream it. That's like, I know if a game has an M rated, I tend to play through it first before I stream it to make sure it's okay. Because, with language and sexuality and things of that nature, I try to keep my streams as PG as possible. Now, there may not be times where we play, like, PG games. I may play teen games or some M-rated games, because I have played God of War on the stream. But, I mean, it's not like I missed all of the pieces that made the stream more than just PG. But no, like as long as I'm like, if I'm not sure about the game, it's got an M rating and it's got nudity on that little MSRB little ticket sticker thingy. I'm like, okay, I'll record this because I can go back and post. I can blur out the pieces that don't need to be seen, and if the language is just too violent or too vulgar for even my standards, then I could go back and just, you know, put a dolphin noise or bleep it out or whatever, just to make sure that the content of the language or the vulgarity or the what is the word I'm looking for, the like, because there's a difference between cussing and then there's a difference between majorly cussing, like, and using words that they're like vulgar racial stereotypes and things of that nature. Is just like so
yeah, it's crazy how things have really like evolved into the way they have, like, right. And like I was saying earlier, like I'm really glad with this recent set of developments that have occurred over this past week. There are a lot of big name YouTubers, and I mean not just YouTubers, I mean there are people taking to Twitter, they're taking to Facebook, and they're pointing it out. Video games are not the problem, and nope. I wholeheartedly agree with that. And there's a main reason why, because my mother is actually a big contributor to this one. And I remember as a kid, right at the time that Mortal Kombat 3 and Street Fighter 2 were the top dogs on the Sega Genesis and the arcades and everything, I remember my mom brought home one of those news magazines that they used to have all the time.
The tabloid. Oh my God.
Yeah, she was just kind of flipping through it one day. Now, this was like shortly after a very horrible incident occurred that there probably a few people don't know what I'm talking about, or maybe only a few remember this, but there was a school called Columbine.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not going to get too much into the detail because I mean it was probably
it's a very sensitive subject.
It's a very sensitive subject. Probably one of the worst ones in our country's history. But I remember my mom was flipping through this magazine and reading over some of the news articles, and she came across one that was talking about Columbine, and she read it and she flipped it down in front of me and she goes, "That's BS." She goes, "I buy games like that for my kid." She goes, "He never wants to go out and do stuff like that." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" You know, and then mind you, I'm like, I'm a kid. So I'm looking over it. And I remember they were saying that one of the reasons why this happened was because of video games, and they even put a screenshot and a title and said, "Violent video games such as this, Mortal Kombat 3 teaches kids violence." And it's like, no. Well, it's like even today, like here I am, 31 years old. If I have a bad day at work, I come home and I play games to relieve that stress and that anger. Like I'll call, like if my friend Cloud is available, like I'll call him up, be like, "Hey, are you home today?" "Yeah." "What's up?" I'm like, "I'm mad. I want to blow some up, you know."
Yeah.
Borderlands or StarCraft 2, which one is it?
And
we'll play games, and I'm just all like, "This is fun. I like this." And then I'll have a good evening. And
you'll forget that you're mad and pissed off about work. Yeah.
Right. And it's like, okay, but those kind of games never made me want to like go back to work the next day and just be like, "You know what? I'm done with you."
Mm-hmm.
You know, and never. Like it's I hate to say it, and I know people will get really mad about this, but let's face it, our kids are ruled by their technology, not their parents. Well, not all.
Yeah, well,
not all.
Yeah,
not all.
but you have to also think of it this way, and this is my opinion on it. A lot of times parents these days will buy video games to be a babysitter for their children.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not saying that it's a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's a give and take relationship when it comes to that. Now, it is the parents' duty, at which point, if they buy them a violent video game, to teach them the right between, right and wrong. Not just say, "Okay, here's your video game. I'll be back in 10 years when you're old enough to do the things that I need you to do," type situation. Like, it's basically taking the video. I think that's why they blame the video game, is because they just don't want to admit that they were a bad parent or didn't have it, enough time or enough involvement in their child's life, and then just like, oh, it's the video games. Like, no, you can't do that. Now, that is a very controversial subject, so I would much rather we just divert from it, because this could go down their bad rabbit hole quickly.
Yeah, it's like seeing books, looking over chat. I remember seeing books years ago that was discussing how evil Pokemon was.
Yep. Like my dad will tell you the story. Like, he wasn't allowed back in the the 50s, 60s, even 70s to watch Star Trek, because Mr. Spock was the devil because of his pointy ears. So it's not just in this day and age. It stems back all the way as far as anybody can remember. And it may not always
louder now.
It's just, it's a lot louder with somebody, oh, I learned this from this game. No, it's not. And people are like, it's the video game. Get rid of the video game. No, it's not the video game. You shouldn't have bought it for your son or daughter or whatever to begin with. But anyway,
it's not a gaming issue, it's a parenting issue.
Yeah.
I'm reading chat again. Kyra says, LOL, I'll heal dungeons on 14 and let people die.
There you go.
there's your stress relief. Like, like I don't actually go out and kill people. I just have like a Batman moment. It's like, yeah, I could have saved you, but I didn't,
because of the Roombas. Anyway. That's probably an inside joke there. Anyway.
So, okay. Well, now that we're back on a happier front now.
Yes.
That was just something like literally everybody was talking about, and I had to get my opinion. I've been holding on to it all week, and I'm just all like, I really want to talk about this, but I don't know when. And I'm just like, you know what? I'll just like indirectly approach it and just say my piece, instead of actually, because I know the moment you actually get into it and you discuss the exact topic, that's when people are starting like, okay, I'm on Reddit getting ready to type, what are you about to say?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so now,
yes,
I know recently we were discussing on some of the stuff that you have covered and you're going to be covering. And I know you, after we discussed it the other day, you are now starting it now. And it's one of my favorite topics. I love talking about this, and people that follow me will even agree that this is my favorite subject. So you just started today streaming Final Fantasy VII.
Yes.
So you and I actually share a common love for this game.
Oh my God, I love this game.
So tell me the history with you in this game. Like, where did you first play it?
It's now that you bring up those type of questions, I really can't answer them. I just know that I have the love for the game. It's because because of the medications I take, my memory has been Swiss cheesed, basically. I remember little bits and pieces about my childhood, but not all of them. I remember like favorite games, favorite foods, I can still remember some tastes and smells, but as far as like what I did, when I did it, and how it all began, like if it's not within the last 10 years, you might as well forget it. But I do remember, once picking this up, it was like because my dad was into video games really, really hardcore. And it's one of the games that he because he gave me my first Final Fantasy 2 for the Super Nintendo. He was the first person to give me my first Super Nintendo, and give me the first game. So as I got older, I was like, okay, I'm done with Final Fantasy 2. Let's go to Final Fantasy 3, Final Fantasy 4, yada yada yada. So eventually, it got to the point where Final Fantasy 7 comes around, and he buys it for me. And I just got a PlayStation. I was so happy about that. And I just spent literally a week and a half in my room playing the game multiple times. Or maybe it was the first time I played it, I spent a whole week playing it. Anyway, I don't remember going to sleep for a week. So now I know physically, I had to slept sometime, because if you stayed up for more than a week at a time, you would literally die. But I don't remember sleeping much after I got that game, and it's just like the best hours It's like just the game is. It's like you have a game that you're fond of. It's part of you as your childhood. You can't explain why, but you give it. You just saying that it's one of those games you played during a rough time. But I really didn't have any rough times in my childhood. I just played games, and that was just the one that stuck in my head the most. There's two, like, if you ask me now, what are my two favorite games, or what is my most favoriteest game, there's two answers to that. But Final Fantasy VII is one of those two. And I just remember spending majority of my childhood playing, and I guess that's why I just love it so much.
Are you excited for the 7R?
So you talking about the remake? Oh my goodness. Yeah. I can't wait. March 3rd, 2020. I can't wait. I'm counting down the days till it comes. That's why I'm that's why I'm starting Final Fantasy VII, the original, as now, because I hopefully by the time March 3rd, 2020 comes around, I'll have it beat. And then I can, show people and experience the people. Excuse me, not experience the people. My goodness, I can't English. I can share the experience with people of how glorious or not so glorious the remake will be, because there's mixed reviews on it. But I'm going to leave that up to when I play it, because I'm not really, only thing I know about the game, because I researched the devil out of some games. The only thing I know about the game now is that it's coming out March 3rd, and that it'll be in 2 parts. So no matter what, it's going to be my childhood in a reformed fashion. So I imagine it's just I'll love it just as well, if not more, depending on the outcome. Because Final Fantasy VII, I've seen all the movies, or not 7 particularly, but Final Fantasy, I've seen all the movies, and Final Fantasy VII, Advent Children. Like, just the Final Fantasy VII people, the characters in it, you've just grown, and I've just grown to have a fondness and an attachment to them, and like they were real people. So, yeah.
Yeah, 7 was a huge part of my life. I mean, because my cousin, everybody knows this story by now. My cousin got me into it, fell in love with it, and then, he passed away a year after we graduated high school, and I remember Advent Children had just come out when we graduated. It was actually my graduation present that night.
Oh.
And I remember going home, and because I just graduated high school, I finally made it. My dad's like, okay, well, just for tonight, I'll get you whatever you want to eat, we'll go. Whatever you want, I'll get it for you. If you want to have friends over to stay the night, feel free, invite as many as you want. I'm like, dude, like,
that's awesome.
Who are you? So obviously we went to Pizza Hut because we love Pizza Hut.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got Advent Children for my he said I could have anything, and I picked Advent Children.
There you go.
So I got Advent Children, and then I honestly only had one friend over who was actually like a really close friend of mine at the time. And him and I shared a really big love for the Final Fantasy games, and he had never seen it yet either. So we sat there late at night, and we were watching it. I remember we actually woke my dad up because we got so excited, because like we were watching the whole movie, and we're just sitting there going, "Oh, we're on the
yes!"
And then there was that moment where Cloud is it's that final fight between Cloud and Kadaj, and then when you get that explosion from the sword impact, and then all of a sudden all you hear is "good to see you." And it's like, I was like, we're like, ugh. And then as soon as it showed Sephiroth's face, him and I were like, ah!
Oh yeah.
Dad comes in, he goes, "What are you screaming about?" We're like, sorry. He goes, "Well, keep it down. I gotta work in the morning." Sorry.
Oh.
But yeah, we were watching that, man. It was so much fun. And then obviously, there was the other spin-offs that came, there was Crisis Core, which I love that one. And then there was Dirge of Cerberus. Not too many people were a fan of that one, but I actually tried streaming it on Twitch, but unfortunately my source didn't want to work, so I had to my brother actually found his old PS2 copy.
Wow.
That I still have it. And I still have my PS2, but I never actually got around to streaming it after I got it because I
oh man, Dirge of Cerberus, I love that game. That's a good game too. It's easily my top 15. It's not the best, but Vincent's really cool. I love Vincent Valentine.
Yeah, Vince's is really cool, and it's one of the topics I remember talking about with 7R was even though Vincent was great in the original, like you do have to admit his limits were just a tad bit broken.
Oh yeah, that's why anytime when you go unlock Vincent Valentine, spoilers in the game, he's like from then point on, he's in my party. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I remember one of the topics was everybody was hoping I hope they fix his limits. And now one of the really cool things I really enjoy is that I know I'm going to enjoy is the fact that whenever you're in combat, you can actually switch between party members and play their own individual play style. I think that's awesome. Now, one argument I really want your, because one argument that I had with my friend Cloud, who him and I have been on this since day one.
Okay.
Because I'm not gonna lie, as soon as they played that first official teaser trailer a few months back, like I remember somebody in my Discord, I can't remember who it was, somebody said Final Fantasy 7R trailer out, and it's like, post that shit. And like they posted it, I'm sitting there watching it, and like I remember I was sitting in the truck I was working at the time. I actually pulled over my truck, put it in park so I could watch this, and I'm sitting there in the truck watching it. I'm like, oh, like,
yes.
I was like, I actually had tears running down my face. I'm like, oh,
years of waiting, yes.
So, but yeah, like so Cloud and I argued about this because we have different opinions on this. Now, with the new version of the ATB system they're introducing with this 7R, what is your like from the trailer that they showed at E3 and everything? I'm sure you watched that.
Oh yeah,
I think everybody did. What is your opinion on it? Do you like it? Do you have your like doubts about it? Like,
no, it's like, to me, from what I've seen thus far, now it could be completely different once the game comes out, but from the videos that I've seen and reading Reddit posts and things of that nature, as far as the combat system goes, to me it seems a lot like Kingdom Hearts, where you're going to get in there, you're going to be able to smack them with your sword, you're going to be able to do all the fanciness, but you have to wait a specific amount of time, which is for the ATB part of it. You're going to have to wait a specific amount of time if you want to, say, do a cure, or if you need to use your limit break or do this, but you're free to go through and just push, and like it's going to become a hack and slash almost, with a touch of like you have to wait, like, oh, almost, ding, okay, now I can use my limit break, or now I can cure, or whatever the case may be. Like your special, basically, that's what it is. It's going to be like your special on your ATB counter. But other than that, you can just go in there and just start beating them on you with your sword, and you'll be able to block and things of that nature. But like, as far as that I'm concerned, I'm going to probably love that combat system a lot, because I'm a very huge fan of Kingdom Hearts, and it looks very Kingdom Hearts-esque. Now, I could be completely wrong, but that's just, me looking at it from my point of view.
I probably already know the answer to this question, but which out of all of them that's in this game, which of these summons are you most excited to see?
Oh, like the new summons?
Yeah.
I won't be able to see it for another couple of years, but Knights of the Round for sure. Either Knights of the Round Table or Neo Bahamut.
Oh yeah.
Or Bahamut. No, not Neo Bahamut. It goes Bahamut Zero. Bahamut Zero. There you go. Yeah, because
I think, isn't this aside from the dark summons, I know a couple of the games do. I'm trying to remember, because I've played a lot of them. I played the first one, second one. I haven't played like 3 through 6. But I've played almost all the Final Fantasies. And isn't 7 the only one that has multiple forms of Bahamut?
Not true. No. Final Fantasy. I want to say Final Fantasy 4. You don't get the summon per se, but the summon is cast on you. You have the ability to summon a Bahamut, but Giga Bahamut is cast on you, and it's one of those fights that you can't escape or run or defeat. But it's you don't get control of the summon, but the summon is done to you. And I think I want to say 9 is like that as well, but I don't know. Like, it's been so long since I played 9, I don't want to say something that, may trigger people because I'm saying something incorrect. But I think there's a second form of a Bahamut there. It's like, it's still called Bahamut, but the color of him is changed. So it's just, I don't know if you would even call that a different form or not. But
yeah, I'm just now getting into like I just got into disc 3 on my 9 coverage. So
right.
and I just got 3 or 4 stones that give us more summons, because Garnet's starting to get her power back and everything. And
right.
I haven't seen Bahamut yet, so I'm anxious to see him. But I did get one that I'm excited to see. I bought it off that auction house, and which, by the way, is going to be coming in. It's going to be coming into the next guide I've got. I've already got the video recorded. I just got to get the commentary and edited. But in the next guide, I'm going to be showing people how to get Odin.
Oh, nice!
I've got Odin. I cannot wait to use him.
Oh, Odin in 9 is very, very. Let's just put this to the words. He's very satisfying when you summon him. It's like, yes.
Odin is always satisfying.
That's very true. Very true.
But like I do enjoy the fact whenever you can actually summon him instead of like where you have moments like in what was it 8 where it's random.
Well, I mean, in 7 it's also random as well. Well, not necessarily random. If the creature can be one shot or if they are susceptible to death, he will do his instant kill thing. Yeah, something like that.
Zensutsuken or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then but if the creature is, say, like a boss or somebody who is immune to death, then he'll do his lunge spear or spear lance or spear lunge or whatever it's called. So it just depends on the party makeup and whether or not they're susceptible to death. Because it's basically a high chance, but I mean, sometimes it'll do just massive damage to them, and other times they're just like, oh, where did they go? Oh, they just disappeared into the ether.
Yeah, there was one Final Fantasy. I was a little, I mean, if he came in a different form, then I didn't see him, but I was a little disappointed. 15.
I haven't played 15 yet, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't think, but yeah, it's a. I will say this much though: if you do decide to play 15, you decide to stream it, get ready for a lot of people coming in and be like, "Is this game still suck?"
I can deal with that, no problem. I deal with trolls on a daily basis. It's not like it's a big deal. You learn quickly as a up and coming streamer and up and coming YouTuber, like, or even Twitch or Mixer people. This applies to everybody who does anything on a platform. You learn pretty quickly you need to grow thick skin, otherwise you're going to get butt hurt about just about everything. So
yeah, very true. And honestly, like out of all the Final Fantasies, I honestly have to say the only ones I haven't really. Now, I don't dislike them. I just don't like their gameplay. And the only one I haven't enjoyed is the 13 series. It's the only one I haven't enjoyed.
I actually liked 13 and 13 too. It was a refreshing, like when 13 came out, like you have to remember 12 came out, and 12 was the last, before, or was it 11? No, it was 11. No, 11 was the online, 12 was back on console, and then 13 and 13.2 was just like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. And then 14 was back online, but it was a refreshing thing because if you played the online of Final Fantasy 11, and it was just like you couldn't do anything without a group. Like literally, you had to have a party, like your friends, or standing in the middle of the town, be like, "Help! I'm a mage that needs some. Anybody want to take me along on this dungeon?" Because you couldn't do anything by yourself. And then 12 came out. 12's combat kind of. And then, 13 and 13.2 came out, and I was just like, finally, something worthwhile. And then, I just absolutely loved it. And then I'm hoping, like, little hints and tidbits, I'm hoping that a lot of the combat system that they're doing in the 7 remake is from 13, because 13 is 13 and 13.2 had the ATB hack and slash set up. So that's I'm already ready for that.
Yeah, that was actually one of the arguments that Cloud had made was he said that they tried to do something similar with 13 and it, in his opinion, was it plummeted. And that was the reason why a lot of people really didn't care for 13.
Well, I've heard it the other way around. The combat system I heard was very, very good, very, very intuitive. It's just the story sucked.
Yeah, Fan has streamed Lightning's Return here recently, and I know she's really like, actually she streamed 13.2 and Lightning's Return all over the course of like the past few months, and she like, obviously I still wouldn't play it because I've played them before. I don't like the combat. I love the characters, I love the story, I just don't care for the combat enough to actually want to play it. Now when I'm watching Fan, she understands it. She can play it like there's no tomorrow,
right?
But it's like, like something that you and I keep saying, she makes it look fun. So when she's streaming it, I'll watch her.
You're having fun vicariously through her. Yeah,
right. And Final Fantasy XII's combat took a bit of getting used to. It was a bit of a mess, but I love the game. Yeah, that was one thing with me. Like the first time I played it, is like, I don't know about that. I don't like the whole auto combat thing. Like, I don't like that. But then like Valkos got me back into it here not long ago, and I actually streamed it from start to finish. And once I learned the new job system they added and everything, like once I understood that, I got all my characters set up. I was actually enjoying it for the real first time. Like I played it and beat it on the original PS2 release, but it was kind of one of those like, yeah, I played it and beat it and like, whatever, didn't really care. But then this time around with Valkos' help, I actually I got used to the combat system, I got used to the job system, and I actually enjoyed the game.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Like there's a lot of people like myself. Like, I'll start playing a game, you're like, oh, you're making me want to go play this game again. I'm like, go for it, my friend, go for it.
Yeah, and there's one, I actually have it, thanks to my daughter. So yeah, okay, so some of you know this story. It's kind of funny now. It wasn't at the time. So my daughter, this last school year, they got her a Switch for Christmas, and they got her I got her a game, they got her a game, they got her something, it was like Mario something. I got her Let's Go Pikachu, because I asked her, I said, which one's your favorite, Pikachu or Eevee? Which obviously she said Pikachu. So anyway, I got her Let's Go Pikachu. She played the crap out of it. She said it's a lot of fun. I've watched you play it, and I still have, like, I want to, but I still haven't touched it yet. And I find it really interesting because my daughter, and this is one thing that it almost makes me bring a tear to my eye thinking about this, and I'm sure you have these moments too with your kids, is I remember when Pokemon first came out, the original Pokemon, and I remember playing the card games, playing the video games on the little on those big fat back Game Boys, and now watching her like really into Pokemon, watching her play, Let's Go Pikachu, and her enjoying the same things that I enjoyed as a kid. Obviously it's more updated, but and you can actually play with them now. You can pet them and all that stuff in some of the games. Yep. And like it almost brings a tear to my eye. But at the same time, I find it a little funny when people make fun of me, because it's like, oh well, you're in your 30s and you're still playing Pokemon. Like, yeah.
But no, I will tell you that if you liked Pokemon Red, Blue, or Green was like a Japan only release. But if you like Pokemon Red and Blue or Yellow. Yeah, Red, Blue, and Yellow and Green. Those were the first original, the ones that were in Kanto, Generation 1. If you liked those, then you will absolutely enjoy playing Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu or Let's Go Eevee, because it is a revisit of the Generation 1.
Yeah, I've seen some. I haven't really watched her play it, but I've seen the reactions she does with it, and it's a even as a 12-year-old, she's getting to that age now where she's like, like she's my kid, so I can say this. Uh, she she's getting to that age now where it's like, some things she does are still cute, but now she's at that age where it's like it's not so cute anymore. I don't look at her and go, oh, look at you. Now she's not a baby anymore. She's 12 years. She's in her preteens now, so it's like a lot of the stuff she does. It's like, will you stop? Like,
it's like you're just a nuisance now. Stop it.
Yeah, it's like, but yeah, watching her play it, like I haven't actually watched her, but one of the things I know that when I finally do get around to picking it up, one of the things I know I'm going to enjoy is not only is Pikachu or Eevee, depending on which one you're playing, follows you all the time outside the Pokeball, but you can also, they ride on your shoulder, you can dress them up. Like I saw that, I was like, this is kind of freaking cute. Like I can't wait to play this, and I've been saying this since ever, and I still haven't picked it up.
Pikachu rides on your shoulder, Eevee rides on the top of your head. And then you can also have a secondary Pokemon. You can take them out of the Pokeball and they'll follow you. And depending on the Pokemon that you allow follow you depends on different things that happen. So for instance, if you put a Pokemon out that is rideable, you will actually ride said Pokemon. If it's a Pokemon, yeah, and if it's just a Pokemon that'll follow you, sometimes they'll be like, "Hey, there's something in that bush over there." You go over there, go to the bushes. Oh, hey, look! Thanks for finding me a potion. And I mean, they find you random items and stuff. So
I know, cool. I know out of the Kanto series, I know my two favorite animal based, like actual like animals that we are familiar, dogs and cats and stuff. My two favorite are Arcanine, or Growlithe and Arcanine, and then there's Persian, which is Meowth's evolved form.
Yes,
and I mean everybody always says, well, I like Meowth too, but I don't know why, but I really like Persian, his evolved form. Like it's just Arcanine and Persian are my two favorite in the Kanto series, just because I don't know, they just look cool.
Oh yeah, and if you like the way Persian looks in the Kanto series from what you remember as a child, just imagine when you start playing Let's Go Pikachu, or the copy of Let's Go Pikachu that you have, because you're gonna be like, this is my precious, and I will take care of it forever, type thing.
the Stitch,
or I could do the my precious. Those filthy hobbits will never take it from Precious. No.
So, I think people would prefer the Stitch. Not that you're a bad golem. I just think
no, people prefer the happiness of Stitch over others. They don't like the Precious. They don't like us. We're too creepies. We like the fishes, though. The fishes like us.
Oh, you're killing me. Okay, so
sorry.
I've got to bring this up because this is something that you were proudly talking with Valkos the last time that you the three of us were able to play Elite together. Which, by the way, guys, if you haven't already, and if you have a I don't know, what would you say, like just a decently operating PC, or would you recommend somebody to have one that's more fitted for gaming?
I wouldn't play on a potato, but I wouldn't you don't need to have like a $6,000 to $7,000 computer to play it either. Over the years, it has become more well optimized. I guess that would be the proper English to say that. It's become optimized enough to where you don't necessarily have to have. I mean, I guess you would need to technically have a gaming computer. I mean, the best way to do it would just go to the recommended specs for the game. Like, and the recommended specs for the game are usually spot on with a game like Elite. I mean, if you would have said that like 5 years ago, they had optimization issues, but nowadays, no, it's actually true.
It's been out long enough. They've actually updated it to the point where it runs fairly smooth. Like I was really worried, like I first down, because I know my computer can handle a lot, with what it's got, but it's not great.
Yeah.
So I was a little bit, but I went ahead and bought it anyway. I was just like, if it works, it works. If not, well, at least I'll have it for when I finally get a better PC that can handle, because I do have a PC. Cloud built a PC on PC Part Picker for me. I just got to give the money to buy it. And, but I downloaded it and it ran perfect. Like it. So obviously it doesn't take an expensive PC to run it. But if you guys haven't already, seriously, go check out on Steam Elite Dangerous. You fly a ship in space in our galaxy, and literally the game is updated via NASA intelligence on our galaxy. It is literally a 1-by-1 map of our real galaxy. And I remember coming into Valkos' stream while he was playing with Dragon, and at the last portion of his stream, they got me in and showed me how to play, and it is so much fun.
Yeah.
And it's not just that, but they also do their best to design like the stars and the planets based on the knowledge that NASA has. Like if you roll up on, like Valkos has shared pictures of it, you fly into a binary star. It's just this big, bright, beautiful blue. I mean, it is amazing.
I think you're talking about a neutron star.
Oh, is it a neutron?
The blue is the neutron. The binary stars is literally two suns really close together.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Mistake.
I didn't mean to correct you.
No, you're fine. You're fine. If you hadn't, somebody else would have, I'm sure. But yeah, it's like I love space, and this game is like the perfect. This is how I would basically put it. You can't so if you buy the Horizon expansion, you can land on bases on planets. That's actually something that they've added in, but you can't actually get out of your ship and go explore the surface or anything like that unless you're in a rover.
SRV. Yep.
Yeah, you have to have an SRV equipped to your ship, and then you can actually explore the surface. But I classify it as this. If you're a big fan of the Mass Effect series, I would classify this as the Mass Effect Online that we never got.
Just to give you a little heads up information there, they are coming with the walking ship or walking update for the game.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, it's actually because it's becoming the Mass Effect Online we never.
They are working on it as we speak. They're making it to where you can literally park your ship somewhere in the middle of nowhere, get up and tour your ship. And if you're landed at a planet, you can actually get out of the cargo hatch at the back, and you can climb down the ladder, and you can walk the cities. You can go out and just be a nomad on your foot. I wouldn't recommend it because of the creatures that might kill you, but if you wanted to tour your ship to see exactly what's in it, how your ship was modular, because the ships are made of modular parts. You put different modules in your system and your parts in your ships, and it makes the ship what it is. So when you go walking through your ship, you're going to be able to see these modules, where they're located and how they affect your ship, and all the special things that come along with them, like the SRV bay. They were doing a little walk around in an SRV bay, and you can actually see down into the little SRV. It's really cool. So I can't wait for the walking update. It's gonna be nice, really nice.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun. I enjoy the crap out of it. Like if I just need to escape for a little while, I'll just pull up Elite and I'll just start warping to different systems and just taking a look around. Just like, oh, that's a pretty star. Let's go check it. I came across a planet while I was doing a mission, and I warped in. It was one of those ones that was in between systems. So you could still warp to it because of the distance, but you didn't warp in close to a star like you do the rest of them. I actually warped in next to a planet. And what was interesting is, I don't know if this was just one that they slapped together because they don't know much about it or what, but I remember I warped into a planet. It was a gas giant, but it was like a bright and dark pink purplish color.
That's a T
with stripes.
That's a T-type star. It's called a T-type star. It was actually a sun. It was just not it was basically a baby sun being formed.
Oh.
Yes.
Well, there you go. So
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to correct you again.
No, you're fine. You're fine. It's just like I said, I love space. It scares me. Don't get me wrong. Space is scary. Like, I mean, especially with the thought, like, there are rocks out there that like have actually hit our planet that is literally about the size of your TV, and it weighs tons. So just imagine if like a full-fledged rock that weighs thousands times more that actually makes it through and hits. I mean, just imagine the damage that could do.
Armageddon, man. They've already made a movie about it.
Oh yeah. Well, that sucker was huge though. That the one that they had in that movie was huge. I'm talking like they've already determined that like a freaking rock the size of a Volkswagen could do miles upon miles of damage if it weighed the right amount, which they've already said that a lot of the rocks in just within our solar system that they're keeping an eye on are all made out of materials like iron, and it's crazy.
Yep.
So back on we got way off track here. So back on to the topic I was wanting to ask you, if I can remember as I'm rambling here, so I'm not wasting time with this dead space. I'm going to keep rambling while thinking about what I was going to ask you. So there was something and I've lost it.
Start asking me, if you ask me other questions or we start talking about something else, it'll pop in your head, and at that point you'll be like, this is what I was talking about.
Oh, the voices. Yes, there was
my impressions. Yes.
Yeah, because you and now I remember what it was. You and Valkos were talking about this the last time we were in video chat, like very proudly, and we were at he was asking you, you do musicals.
I have. Yes, I can. There are certain voices that I can do that I can sing as as that character. Stitch being one of them. I can sing as Smeagol. I've not tried singing as Mario because my voice tends to go too high or too low, and Mario is like right there in the middle. But like I know I've sang as Stitch. I think I did like oh gosh. I did a small Christmas album, like 5 songs for Christmas last year for my viewers. Oh gosh, I don't remember, but I know I sang as Stitch is like, early night, the stars are brightly shining. This is the day of the good Savior's birth. And I that's probably not the song, but that was just a little snippet of the I can sing as the voice. I sing myself. People say that I have a really good singing voice. I'm like, okay. So they asked me for a Christmas thing. So yeah, I did. But yeah, there's certain voices I can do that I can sing with.
Do the girls come crawling to you?
No.
No. Oh, I have me either. Like, well, speaking of, that's actually the crazy thing. I remember this guy, the one that actually really like him and another guy actually really helped me get my footing in YouTube, like tips and what to do and what. Eliminating Cow. I don't know if you know who he is, but
sounds familiar. Don't know the person personally.
Yeah, he usually does a lot of guides like on games for Final Fantasy and stuff. Like he became really popular with his 15 guides, and he I remember there was a point, now mind you, he's married. He actually just had him and his wife just had their second kid. I mean, he's a fun guy to be around. I miss having him on a regular basis, but real life tends to do that to you. But
hashtag real life comes first. Yes.
Yeah. So I remember when I first started, like when they first helped me get into streaming, I remember before I got my girlfriend at the time, when I was still single, like I remember when I first started streaming, man, I had like literally all the girls from his stream were coming to mine. And I remember like one stream, he actually came in, hung out for a few minutes. And then the next time he streamed, I showed up and he goes, "Boy, Mike, you are just a regular old ladies man, aren't you?" He's like, "All the girls go to see you." And then I got a girlfriend there for a little while, and everybody stopped showing up.
Yeah, it's like the way that, like, that's what I've told my current girlfriend. It's like when you're trying to look for somebody, it doesn't happen. Like, everybody's just like, no, I don't see you that way. You're just a brother to me. You know, the same old lines of rejection. And then soon, I mean, the minute you get down and you commit yourself to somebody, everybody's like, oh, are you single, Dragon? Do you want to go out? Do you want to hang out? Do you want to do the things? Do you want to do this? Oh, you're seeing somebody. Oh, well, have a nice life. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? It's so sad.
Trust me, I've had that happen multiple times in my life. And actually, what's funny is the girlfriend I was talking about, when that happened, I remember there was two of them that came out of the woodwork. Now, mind you, one of them was a gamer as I was, but
right.
she was more focused on the distance, and she's like, yeah, I don't think it's going to work because you're just too far away. It was possible,
yeah,
if you tried, but she's like, I just think you're just too far away. I would like to, but you're just too far. All right, whatever. And then I had another one that was actually here, more local.
Right.
And she wasn't a gamer. And she told me, she's like, I really don't. She's like, you're really nice. And, I do think you're really sweet. And I wouldn't mind dating you just because I know that you would treat me right. She's like, but I really don't want to date a gamer. She's like, and I'm just like, well, you do realize that's not all I do. Like, I go to work, I pay my bills, I go on Jeep rides with my family and friends. I do other things. I'm not just a gamer. I think it was more the YouTube thing that kind of chased her away, because she's like, oh dear God, a YouTuber. Yeah. But what's funny is when me and this other chick had announced that we were together, like the first day we announced it, I kid you not, the next day, both of them that said no before just suddenly came out of nowhere. And it's like, one of them was like, I was thinking, and I'm just like, nope, you're too late. Somebody already picked me up. And it's like, wow, okay, well, whatever. And then the one that was more local called me up, and she's like, so what are you doing? I'm like, sitting here. She's like, can I come over? And I'm like, not really. She goes, why not? I said, because by the tone in your voice, I'm suspecting that something might happen, and I can't do that right now. And she goes, why not? I said, because I just got a girlfriend like 2 days ago. And she goes, oh, well, how did that happen? I'm like, oh my God. We talked about it after flirting for a little while and decided to give it a shot. And needless to say, after that conversation, I haven't heard from her since, which I find really funny.
Yeah, it's just like, I've lost a bunch of friends that way. It's just like, you should have said something. I'm sorry, you should have said something. Yeah, I do.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, and I will say this because I've been a part of, I've had this experience, and I'm gonna say this. I'm very happy for you, by the way. I'll say it again. Congratulations on the new relationship. I really hope it works out. The two of you seem like you were having a lot of fun, and but I will say this: being the fact that you do have an online persona and everything that you got going on, there probably will be some ridicule coming your way, some trolling and whatnot. It's obvious. You're on the internet. It's going to happen.
Let them come, but I can handle it.
Yeah, but one thing I can definitely say from experience is I find it really funny that when that happened to me, and I know who they are because because before we broke up, she was kind enough to finally spill the beans on everybody, by the way. So if you're one of them, you know who you are.
Yeah.
She finally spilled the beans on everybody that was involved in this. But I remember, like, literally shortly after her and I had announced that we were together, literally people were disappearing. Nobody wanted to be friends with me anymore. And people were actually going to her and saying, hey, there's just something about him that doesn't seem right. He kind of reminds me of my ex, and my ex was the abusive type. Like, really? You don't even know me. You've come to 2 streams that you've only hung out for like 15 freaking minutes, and you're going to say that I remind you of your abusive ex? Seriously? I'm sitting here playing a game.
See, that's why, because the person that I'm dating now, we have been dating, quote unquote dating, for at least 3 months now. We didn't say anything prior because we knew that type of thing would happen. But I told her as soon as we met in person, if it worked out like, we're mentally compatible, listen to me, mentally compatible, because we talk every day, our personalities just mesh up really, really well. So I was saying if we meet and we in our physical, IRL type situation meets up, the chemistry, if the chemistry's there, that's about the best way to put it. If the chemistry is there, then we can announce it because sometimes when you're on an online relationship type situation, your personalities would mesh up so well, it's crazy. But then when it comes to the chemistry in person, it can just go bottoms up really, really fast. It's just no attraction there at all. But you still stay friends because you like that personality connection. Whereas, but if in situations like what happened here with me, like we started dating or we started talking about the prospect of dating a couple of months before we actually met, and then we met, and then now it's just it's still, yes, it's online, we still talk online every day, and it is literally, she's 8 hours away from me, but that's 8 hours that I don't mind driving anytime anytime I know she's going to be off of work, or like when I have my kids in the next weekend, I'll go see her type situation. I don't care how hard I need to drive or how far I need to drive to make sure that this works, but I'm going to try to make it work the best I can. Because, it's just, you just, that's the way you do with relationships. You just try to make them work the best you can.
Yeah, I can definitely understand it. And by the way, somebody really wanted to say hi.
Oh, hello, kitty.
But anyway, yeah, I could definitely say from experience, that's one of those things. What are you staring at? You're kind of creeping me out now. But anyway, but yeah, that was definitely one of the things that it's all about, how much effort you're wanting to put into it. I mean, that much I could say. And honestly, I'll say this, since me and this last one, split up, it's, I've been single ever since then. And I tell you what, it's been really relieving because I haven't had to worry about, what are they doing, or, there's none of that drama involved with it. So it's been kind of nice, but at the same time, I'm at that age now where, I don't mean to make us, sound like we're geezers or anything, but I'm at that age now where it's like, okay, I don't do the partying thing anymore. I don't,
nope.
I might go to the bar across the street, which, okay, it's not really a bar, it's Buffalo Wild Wings, it's a bar and grill, but still,
yeah,
I could go over there. Okay, you're okay, go.
It's like, I'm done with my lovings, leave me alone now.
Well, actually, no, I could hold him all night, he wouldn't care. It's just the thing that the way he's moving his body is kind of getting a little annoying.
Gotcha.
So, but like, I don't go out as per se, because I know I'm at that age now where it's like, I'm becoming one of those guys where at my age, these women that look good are looking at me going, yeah, get out of here, Gramps. That it's like it's like, I'm not even that old. Like, I'm just now in my prime because I'm 31. I'm in my prime years now. And like, I'm being looked at like, yeah, no. So it's like, it's nice being single because I don't have to worry about the drama. I don't have to worry about the stress. I don't have to call. I don't have to worry about answering to somebody. And it's like I was telling a friend of mine, I actually got into an argument with a woman over here at this bar here recently. And everybody thought it was hilarious. I mean, and I'll leave you to be the judge. But the exact line that I told her when she was trying to make fun of me, because she's like, oh, I've been married for so many years. And she's like, but mind you, here's the catch. She was at the bar by herself without her husband. So it's like, okay, well, what? So she's making fun of me because I've been single for a while. And I told her, I said, honestly, I said, it's out of my choice. I'm choosing to stay single. I've had a couple of offers, but looking at what they were about and what they were after, I said no, because I'm not going to have people take advantage of me again, because I've had that happen too many times.
Yeah.
And I told her, I said, look, I said, it's by my choice. I was like, and not to mention, I said, as a man, I find it rather enjoyable to have possession of my spine and my testicles all at once.
Oh, that's messed up.
Needless to say, the funny thing is, and you would think as a woman she would understand what I was talking about.
She was oblivious.
She was completely oblivious to that comment. She goes, "What do you mean by that?" Okay, yeah, you're off. Yeah, all right. So, but yeah, I mean, at the same time though, I enjoy the single life. But there are some days where I come home and I'm just all like, "Hey, kitty,
Lonely,
how was your day,
Mr. Lonely? No one that I can call my own." Yeah, trust me, I know.
So, but yeah, I mean, I've yeah, it's getting to that point. But I'm hoping. Now, here's an interesting thing. I've talked to some of you about this, and I had just shown you this, Dragon, before we started. But I invested in something that I'm hoping will change the game for me, because I know that I'm slightly overweight. I know that I am literally out of shape completely. But I just invested in something I'm hoping will change the game for me. DDPY, or as it's more commonly known as Diamond Dallas Page Yoga. Now, if anybody that doesn't know who Diamond Dallas Page is a retired wrestler who is now running a yoga course online, and he gives you everything: a guide planner, cookbook. He does online scheduled courses to basically help you plan. Like, now you can do it whenever you want. Like that's the thing. He actually tells you he has this program set up to do it how you want, when you want it. You make it your own, and the results will vary based on how much effort you put into it. That's the biggest thing. You have to put in the work to make it work. And I've been doing it every single day since I signed up for it. And I got to tell you, I still have a long way to go before I actually start showing results. Obviously, like, I've taken my measurements. I'm not happy. I am very unhappy with myself. I took measurements. There is a reason why my pants and shorts don't fit anymore. And I knew it was time. And it's really bad when every morning, like, two things that would get on my nerves every morning. It would take me 15 minutes to get out of bed because my lower back and my hips would lock up really bad. And a lot of it has to do with my current job at my old route that you guys heard me complain about a lot. The very steep driveways, very heavy furniture I had to pack every single day. It took a toll on my back. And every morning I get up for work and it take me 15, 20 minutes to get out of bed because my lower back and my hips would lock up really bad and put me into some excruciating pain.
Ouch.
Now, because I'm overweight, which I know you can't really tell right now, but if I was to stand up and turn sideways, you'd be able to see it.
Beer belly. Clearly.
So, beer belly from hell. Which doesn't fit with the rest of me. My arms, they look normal, right?
Right.
My legs, they look normal. I'm all waist and belly.
Right.
So now, the biggest thing that was really annoying me, and my child actually had to help me the other day, and that's when I knew that something had to change. I'd go to tie my shoes. And because my belly was so big, pressing into my legs, obviously it would push the other way into my ribs, cutting off my air. I actually bent over to tie my shoes and I'm sitting there going, that's how it would sound every day tying my shoes because I couldn't breathe. Well, last week I was tying my shoes, getting ready for work. I damn near blacked out. My kid actually saw me starting to tip over towards the table, and she grabbed me and threw me to the floor so I wouldn't hit my head on the table.
Oh, man.
That's when I knew I needed to address some shit. So I was doing some research because I've gone to the gym. I've tried diets that don't work. I mean, and the biggest thing about the gym, I know a lot, like, especially with men always say, oh, you should just go to the gym, get swole. It doesn't always work that way. Different people have different results when it comes to weightlifting. And I just happen to be one of those poor saps that doesn't get results from weightlifting. And the biggest problem I had was when you go by yourself, it's hard to stay motivated. It's hard to tell yourself you need to keep pushing, push some more, push more, you can't, it's hard to tell yourself that.
You either need a friend or a personal coach.
Exactly. You know, you need that second voice sitting there going, you can do it. Come on. You need that motivation.
Come on, man. Another 5 miles. Let's go.
So I was doing some research and I linked this in Valkos's Discord after I was telling him about it. I found a video. It was a clip from Joe Rogan's podcast. He was talking to DDP, and DDP shared with him one of his success stories that he has on his website. It was a disabled or a handicapped veteran. He was a paratrooper in the Gulf War who had too many drops, or too many jumps is what they call it, where he'd put parachute to the ground. Now, anybody who's ever been parachuting before, when you hit the ground, you hit hard. And you got to learn to roll with the ground to keep yourself from like breaking your legs and everything. Well, too many jumps caused some major problems for him. When he got out of the military, he gained a lot of weight due to his lack of mobility. Before you knew it, he had those crutches that strapped to your arms to assist with walking, and he could barely get around. Well, then he got into DDP yoga. The doctors told him he'd probably never walk without assistance ever again. Long story short, after doing it for 10 months, he dropped 160 pounds, and they showed a video of him not only walking without his crutches, but he began sprinting towards the camera. And the last picture you saw was a side-by-side view of where he started and where he's at now. He was literally standing on his head, no hands, doing the DDP symbol.
Oh, wow.
That convinced me that this was something I could probably do, and I'm glad I did it because I've been doing it every day since I bought it. Because as soon as you buy the pack, you immediately get access to the online application, whether it be on your phone or with your web browser. You can start doing the online courses right there. And I've been doing them right here in this room. I just clear this chair out and everything, and I do it because it doesn't take much room to do it. It doesn't take a whole lot of work. And after my second day, I did it the second day yesterday. I got up this morning. I had no pain in my lower back. When I went to about 4 or 5 stops into my route today, I noticed that every time I would get out of the truck, my body felt loose. It felt good. Like I was actually very mobile and I wasn't straining in any way. So it is helping, and I'm going to plan on keep doing it every day. And
there you go.
Yeah, so I'm really glad I started it, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what my results will vary to further down the road. So,
well, good luck with that, man. I'm rooting for you.
Yeah, I had which was interesting because, you know, and this thing, and Dragon, I'm sure you've probably ran into a lot of people who ridicule you on the choices that you make.
Of course.
But one of the things I was expecting, because anytime you buy or invest into any kind of program that is supposed to help you get in shape, lose weight, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be DDPY, it could be P90X, it could be literally any program that you say that you want to get into. People immediately want to ridicule you and make fun of you because it's like, oh, well, I heard this program is better, or why are you doing that? Why not just go to the gym and lift weights like everybody else? Because that didn't work for me. I'm looking for something that's going to work for me.
Yep.
And I am sure that I have found it now. And that's the biggest thing. And I'm sure you will even agree with me on this, Dragon. It's not about what other people think. It's about how you want, what you want to do. And it doesn't matter what they say, no matter how much they put you down, because they're going to do it anyway.
Oh, yeah.
You want to do it. You get out there, you put in the work, and you do it. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I've been chalking in work every single day. Today was supposed to be an off day because I did 2 days in a row of the introductory courses. And yeah, I was sore because, it's all about dynamic resistance. You don't lift weights. You make your own resistance with flexing. And you keep your heart rate up. That's the biggest part of this. That's why it's not very difficult to do, because there's no weightlifting involved. There's push-ups, but it's not like I'm going to make you do 100 push-ups. No, it's more just you do the push-ups, you go back halfway, you hold, like the military, you go halfway, you hold it for 3 seconds, then you drop down. He doesn't work you to death, but he does it to where your heart rate stays up and you keep burning calories as you do it.
Yep.
And yeah, it's one of those things I really hope, but today was supposed to be an off day. And instead of just taking the whole day off, I decided to do one of the exercises where like you sit in a chair and you do a 15-minute exercise with him just to kind of get in a little bit of work for the day. And the interesting thing about it is with every course that you finish and every bit of progress that you make with, weight loss or, whatever, if you log it into the app, what your progress is and what improvements that you actually clock in, you earn points, but you don't earn a whole bunch of them. Even if you finish a 45-minute course, you only get like a couple hundred points. You gain 100,000 points with all the progress in the courses that you do. You put in the work and they actually see that you upload pictures. They want you to upload 6 positions of pictures that they want to see so they know what they're working with. You put in 100,000 points, you earn your first t-shirt for free. You have to earn that shirt. You don't get to buy it. There's no way to buy it unless somebody already earned it and they're selling it. You have to earn that shirt. So if one of these days you ever see me coming to the podcast and you see me wearing a DDPY shirt, I've earned it.
Like, we made it, fellas.
That's like a badge of honor right there is the way I look at it. So
yeah, you wear that shirt with pride too.
Speaking of shirts, I see that you're wearing your very own.
I wear my Dragon Well
t-shirt.
It's a hoodie, but yes, I love my Dragon Well hoodie. It's nice and warm and comfy. Keeps me warm on cold winter nights and keeps me blistering hot during the summer.
So so that logo, I really like your logo, by the way. So like, was that something that you made or did somebody make that?
Somebody, Andre SSG drew this for me back when I first started streaming. He found me. He's like, hey man, I could really help you out. I'm like, okay. He's like, I'm going to draw you something. I'm like, oh, okay. And at the time, if my beard was in the way, you see the hat that's there. That was the hat that I wore. Now I've got a plethora of hats, but this was the hat that I wore. And he incorporated the beard. Like, here's my beard and the Dragon Well. And basically, he was just like, I'm going to make this for you. I'm like, oh, okay, thanks. You don't have to. And he's like, no, man, no problem. And I was like, so what do you want me to do? Like, how do you want me to handle this? And he's like, just put my name in the description, like channel art by so-and-so. And then I just asked him one of these days, I was like, hey, can I throw this on a t-shirt, start selling them, or throw this on a hoodie or something, a backpack, posters and stuff? He's like, yeah. And he's just like, just update what you said on your thing. So yeah, if you look in my description, every single stream that I do, it says, shirt and logo, channel ID logo, blah, 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 by Andre SSG. And I put a link to his channel because he's just an awesome person.
Oh, that's cool. And it's always good whenever you support people that help you out too. That's a big, there's a lot of people out there that don't do that. And I just think that's selfish. Like, yeah. And the sad thing is, because it was something that they offered to them, there's nothing they can really do about it. It's like,
well, I mean, he could have, like, if I would have decided, hey, I'm going to put this on the shirt, and be like, hey man, can I put this on the shirt? He could have asked for a percentage and I legally would have had to give it to him.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I when I was on Twitch, I actually finally got to the point where I had put up some merch, and I think 2 cups were bought, 2 coffee cups with the logo that Jericho made for me, the Soldier of the Wild logo, which is the actual soldier logo from Final Fantasy VII, colored in red and gold, and it had the Buster Sword and the Swiss sword from the Advent Children. They were crossed in front of it. And across the top, he put soldier.
Nice.
And then on the bottom, it says of the wild.
That's
and cool. I remember I slapped those on like a bunch of stuff, like shirts, men and women's shirts, coffee mugs, both left-handed and right-handed, because, some people like to drink their coffee mug with any design facing out.
Yeah.
So I made it for both sides. And the only thing that was sold on my merch store was I bought a cup that was stolen as soon as it showed up, which seriously, a coffee. You would think if they would have ripped, because like I found the box, it was like literally right around the corner from my door. They ripped the box open, pulled the mug out, and it's like, okay, you just saw that it was a coffee mug. The least you could have done was just like, I can't do anything with this. The least you could have done is just put it back.
Yeah.
They didn't do that. They took the freaking mug. It's like, how desperate are you? Like,
that's
and then
up.
So the only Soldier of the Wild merchandise that currently, as far as I know, still exists in the world today is my friend Revert of Cloud has the only mug that actually was ordered and made it to his house.
Nice.
It's sitting among his collection of coffee mugs that he has.
Nice.
So, is the artist's signature on the art?
No.
Well, yeah.
I mean, the artist's signature could be on the art if he really wanted to get down and dirty or not say down and dirty, but down to the technicality. Then if the artist's signature was on the art, then I technically didn't have to promote his channel and who he was in my description, because everybody could easily see that it was made by this person. But no, even if he would have done that, I'm the type of person that I want to just be like, hey, where'd you get that logo from? All that information is in the description, but Andre SSG did it. And I will give them the links, happily give them the links to his channel, because he does some fascinating and really, really good art. He's a really good artist. I can't describe how great some of the stuff he has produced. It's really, really cool. Really, really cool.
Yeah, it's like with me with my computer and everything. Like Cloud built this computer for me, and he could have sold it to me for a lot more than what he did. He sold this computer to me for $300.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a steal. But the thing, and he told me the history behind this computer. Like, it's made out of used parts and everything, which is fine. It still works. It works great. Like, I've got dual monitors. I can stream. I can game on it. Like, I put a video card upgrade in it. And like, I'm supposed to be getting an SSD for it, so it performs just a little bit better. But every time he says that he's going to send it to me, he tends to forget, or he becomes too busy. Like, he showed me the box, like with a widescreen 720p like actual computer, because right now I'm using TVs.
Right.
But it's an actual computer monitor, widescreen, and the SSD in the box. Like, the SSD is packaged separately. It's going to go in the box with the monitor. He showed it to me. He's like, as soon as I get time to go up there and send it off, he said, I'm going to send it to you. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, he's been saying that for like the past 6 months.
Yeah, real life comes first, man.
Yeah. So, well, the thing is, he got a promotion at work. So now, instead of just being a co-manager at his job, he's now like in charge of everything.
Right.
So the poor guy literally, and like anytime they call him and say, hey, we need you here at this time to help with training over here, like he has to travel to another location.
Yeah, he has to go. There's no choice.
Yeah, and it's like, I've talked to him one time in the past 3 weeks, and like, that's how busy he's. Like, even on his day off, I was like, hey, are you off? Like, usually Sundays are his day off, and it's like, are you off this Sunday? He's like, yeah. We're like, well, we should do something. He goes, definitely. Sunday rolls around, don't hear a peep out of him. I was like, man, that poor guy. So but yeah, it's just stuff like, it's one thing about this platform that I really do like. You meet a lot of new and interesting people, and you never know, one of them might actually come along and be like, hey, I might be able to help you out with this.
I mean, you'll be surprised how many people will do that. And they don't, and some of the people that you find that do that don't ask for a dime or ask for anything but for you just to be the person you are. And it's just, that's one of the most humbling experiences when you have it happen to you. You're just like, oh, thank you. And I mean, you feel that thank you is not enough, but that's literally all you can do is thank them, but be sincere about it, of course. So
Yeah, I don't know why everything keeps popping up in front of your face, but but I was going to bring something up to kind of comment on that, because you and I actually have a mutual friend
Oh,
who while I was still streaming on Twitch was kind enough to make a theme for me, and the guy never asked a thing. Like, he didn't, like, he made it, like, as soon as I asked for it, I told him exactly what I was feeling, what I was wanting, and I have this camera focused on you the whole time I'm talking. I got
it's like, ooh, oh.
everybody just watching your face reaction while I'm talking. It's like, what? What are we missing? But anyway, back to what I was saying though, is Valko Sonori. I contacted because he does make, he teaches and he makes music and everything. And I was like, oh, well, and he's done work like this before. And I'm like, okay, well, I was like, maybe I'll reach out to the guy, we're friends, So I asked him, I said, hey, I was like, so I'm actually rebranding the channel. I was like, I'm wanting to go with a theme. Do you think you could help me? He's like, sure, shoot, what do you want? And I'm like, okay, so I'm feeling like, old-timey RPG, like Final Fantasy 7, obviously. I was like, can you make me something that sounds like Final Fantasy 7? But I want it, and I explained to him what I was thinking in my head, and he kind of took it, and we kind of compiled some notes together. And he blew me away with what he created. And but the thing is not only did it sound great, it was exactly what I was looking for, but the guy never asked a thing. He just sent it to me and said, I hope you enjoy it.
There you go.
I was like, well, maybe I could throw you something. He's like, don't worry about it. Well, obviously, me being the nice guy that I am, because I loved it so much, the next time he streamed, I threw him a $50 donation, and I told him, I said, I was like, the fact that you didn't ask for anything,
that makes it just that much more. Yeah,
it makes it that much more better. And like, he read the message I sent with the donation, and he's sitting there, he's like, man, I'm in the middle of streaming, so you're gonna make me freaking tear up.
It's like, man, that was so beautiful.
Yeah, and I'm actually, I know you can't hear it, but I'm actually listening to it right now, and it's like the way he pieced it together, like he did exactly what I told him I was looking for.
Right.
And yeah, it's just it's a freaking awesome theme, and I'm really glad that he did it. And yeah, it was really cool. The people that you meet on this platform can be really amazing. And,
oh yeah, that is for sure.
Yeah, and it's like, well, with you, I mean, I know Cloud's been like, whenever Cloud has time, he tries to help me reach out to more people to try to get on one of these, because it's always good to like expand the horizon and try to get more and more people involved. And he's actually reached out to a couple of people that are kind of high up there in the numbers, and they're just all like, well, it sounds like an interesting idea, but I'm right now, and they always come up with these like, and I know what it is. It's because I have a small number of following, and they've got a huge number, and unless it does something for them, they don't want to do it. But and I do got to say, I really appreciate the fact that you are taking out the time to join the Front Porch family in this. And
oh man, it's an honor and a privilege, dude. I mean, it's not a thing. I mean, if I had 10 subscribers versus a million subscribers, it's about the community and the community that you build. It's not about like who is better than the other. It's you gotta the good people, you need to stick together. If you don't, then we're just all tooth and nail for ourselves, and that's not the way it's supposed to be. We're supposed to be ohana. We're supposed to be family. We're supposed to do this together. Like, doesn't worry, oh, I can't be with you, man, because you're too low on the totem pole. No, that's not how it's supposed to work, at least not in my eyes. That's one of the things that I try to stress for people that are, just starting out. If you need help, talk to me, talk to somebody. I mean, I don't bite, I promise. I will sit there and I will work things out with you and do this. So this coming on here, this was my honor. It was my privilege, because
that's really nice of you to say. I really appreciate that. Especially somebody, with I mean, you're obviously still at the beginning stages of the, getting your foot in the, I always call it like once you hit 1K, you have your foot in the door, but you're not in the door yet.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I mean, you're still at those stages where you've got your foot in the door and you're kind of working your way in, but you're still at that point now with the following that you've got. You don't have to do things with people like me that have a smaller following, but you do, and that's what I really enjoy about you. And to really add on top of it, and if you don't want to talk about this, but I do want to say that Dragon is probably the most selfless person I've ever seen on YouTube. He actually shared something with me the other day that blew my mind, and this is going to give you a new line of respect for this guy. Dragon enjoys doing streaming on YouTube so much. He's not in it for fame. He's not in it for money. Dragon actually shared with me the other day, and if you want to shut me up, just say shut up.
No, keep going, dude. I know what you're gonna say.
He actually showed me his video analytics screen the other day. Not a single video or stream in his list is monetized, even though he's had that capability since he hit 1,000. He is one away from 3,600 at this moment. Has not monetized a single video or stream because he doesn't want the money. He just wants to have fun.
That's it. That's it.
Now let's just be honest with ourselves. If any one of us, I don't care who you are, as Larry the Cable Guy says, I don't care who you are. If any one of us was in the same boat as he was, we'd monetize some stuff. We know we'd want that extra cash. We're having fun doing it, but at the same time, it's like, well, if I can make a little bit of money off of this, click. But Dragon doesn't do that. He could, but he doesn't. And that is. Because see, that's what I think that's where a lot of people fall short on YouTube, is they get into it thinking, well, if I can get a big enough following, I can make a lot of money like these other. No,
people come into it with a get rich quick scheme. They're thinking, oh yeah, I can just be on this, make a viral video, boom, there we go, baby, millionaire. No. If you come into YouTube thinking that you're going to make mounds of money right off the bat, you might as well just say no. Just stop right there, because it's not about, like, you can't think of it in a situation with the money. Especially, that's what a lot of people people who start YouTube nowadays, they're like, oh yeah, they're thinking, oh yeah, by the end of this week I'll have 1,000 subscribers. No, it doesn't work that way. Like, I barely made 300 subscribers in 6 months. And then I started streaming, and then, because streaming was starting to take off and being a big thing. Like, nowadays, I mean, streaming is still a big thing for most people, but it's not like you will eventually balance out. But like, you're not a success. You can't become a success overnight, but there are, I have to say this, there are those rare exceptions. But it's you can't think of it in a sense where you get rich quick. You just can't. You just can't.
Yeah. And I honestly got to say, like, one of the things I'm really hoping, like, when I can get around to it, because I know it's going to be so much fun, and I'm hoping that it'll actually bring in some more people to come and enjoy the channel, is when I start up Xenogears, which a big part of it is thanks to you motivating me to do it. But I honestly think, whether it gets 1 view or 10 views or 1,000 views, I don't care how many views it's going to get, because it's going to be Xenogears. I'm going to enjoy it, because I'm like, seriously, I already know, just because I know the combat in that game, I'm going to be that guy who's going to be sitting there hitting buttons, going like, I'm probably going to make some weird sound effects, like, what? Ah!
Oh, dude, the more sound effects you make, like, you should have seen me on my stream today, Cloud doing the braver. It's like, yeah, huzzah! It's like, yeah, get into it. It's like, that tells you right there, like, the people watching you, and they see that type of reaction from you. You can fake it, yes. But if it's genuine, people can see that genuinity from that, and you're just like, dude, that guy's having fun. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Like playing Xenogears. Somebody call Morpheus, tell him I know Kung Fu.
It's like, I know kung fu. Show me. It's like, oh, okay.
Well, it's like when I mentioned it. When I mentioned it the other day in Discord, somebody or no, I think it was I think it was at Valkos's stream last night, a couple nights ago. I can't remember, but I mentioned that's what I told Valkos. I'm like, that's the next LP I'm wanting to do that you had motivated me to do was Xenogears. As soon as I said Xenogears, a couple of people said in the chat, oh, that's a great game. One guy in particular, one comment that he said that stuck out was just like, yeah. He's like, anything that has mechs that knows kung fu, he's like, that's the game for me.
Yeah. That's why I like a Mech Warrior, what is it? Dynasty Warriors Mech Warrior. Like, that's why that went over so well. It was Gundam Mech Warrior, I think, or Gundam.
Yeah, Dynasty Warriors Gundam.
There you go, that's it. Yeah, that's why that one went over so well. It's like, you're in a freaking Gundam! It's like, yeah! But like any of the Mech Warrior games go over well, even though they're not as popular as it used to be back in the day. Like, but you'll still get people that play like Mech Warrior Online and things of that nature because it's cool. So
I grew up watching Gundam. Like my favorite series to watch was Gundam Wing.
Yep.
With Wing Zero and his pilot Hiro.
Yep.
Or Hiro. Yeah, Hiro.
Yep.
Like it's like when I first started watching, I think it was like one of the first couple of episodes, like when they were all landing on Earth and they were trying to find their suits. And I remember, I think it was like actually the first episode of Gundam Wing. He was with the goofy one. Not Troa.
It's been so long since I've seen Gundam Wing, dude. I don't have no idea.
But yeah, it was Hiro and fishing up. They were fishing up their suits out of the ocean. He was using a crane to pull it up. Hiro had a broken leg, and I remember Duo. Thank you, Ria. Duo. Duo had pulled the suit out of Wing Zero out of the ocean. He goes, there, I pulled yours up too. He said, you could at least thank me or something. What is he doing? And there's Hiro with his bottom of his foot. He's laying on his back. He's got his foot on a rail and he's pushing his leg, trying to put the bone back into place. And you hear it crack. And he's like, ugh. Oh, just gotta go and put a broken bone back into place, man. But seriously, like I cried so hard when Endless Waltz came out, like because that was the end of Gundam Wing. Like that was it. They destroyed the suits. They like the fight was the war was over.
Yeah.
But I remember there was one moment in the movie where like Hiro was like the ultimate badass because like this chick, she's in her underground bunker and she thinks she's won already and like she's got this cocky attitude. She's like, we're so many feet underground. I go ahead and try to shoot us down. And Hiro's just like, understood. What? And he blew the hell out of that place. It destroyed his suit in the process, but he blew the hell. And I love that attitude. Like, just go ahead and try it. Understood. What?
I have a favor to ask you, sir. Do you mind if I take a quick recess?
Actually, I think it might be we're at 2 hours 25. I think it'd be about that time. So I think we'll go ahead and call it.
Okay.
And because I do need to go to bed soon because I do have work in the morning. But all right. Well, yeah, we'll go ahead and call it there. Dragon, thank you so much for joining me on this. This was a lot of fun, as I figured it would be.
Like I said, dude, it's my honor and it's my pleasure. I mean, I'm happy to do this anytime. If you want to have me back, we could talk on other topics and other things. But that's completely up to you. I leave it up to you. But like I said, it is an honor and my privilege. It's warm fuzzy feels to you, sir.
Well, that's really kind of you to say, and it's really good having you here. I'm really glad, friends. It's been a lot of fun. And so just real quickly before you go, tell everybody what you got going on right now and when they can find you.
Well, I mean, I stream every day, real life permitting, around 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. Usually that's about the time I start, and I go to either like 4 or 5 depending on the game. Tomorrow in particular, we're playing Splatoon 2. We have Splatter Days, which is always, we play Saturday. Play Splatoon always on Saturdays, unless something else gets requested, and it's just, I don't know. We've got Retro Wednesday coming up, where we just started a new game called The Return of Kirby, or Kirby's Return to Dreamland. So I'm having a blast with that. So, but yeah.
Oh, Kirby. Love Kirby.
Yeah, it got requested for Retro Wednesday, so I just started playing it this past weekend, or this past Wednesday. So yeah, just having fun. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, well, it definitely sounds like a lot of fun. So yeah, everybody, thank you all so much for joining us here, and I'm glad we could do this. This was an amazing 20th episode, and for anybody who hasn't yet, be sure to check all the links in the description below. You'll be able to find Dragon there, as well as all of my links down below.
Aww.
And we're looking forward to we're looking forward to the next Front Porch Gamer podcast. And until then, guys, take care.
Bye.